When someone hurts you, there's this powerful desire that rises up inside you, a desire for justice, for them to feel the pain you felt, for them to know just how deep their actions have cut you. It's natural, you're human, the hurt is real. And when the wounds are fresh, it feels like the only thing that will bring relief is seeing them get what they deserve. But I'm here to tell you that the path to your healing, the path to your freedom, does not lie in seeking revenge or staying stuck in bitterness. No, the path to your true power begins with something that sounds counterintuitive: forgiveness. Now, I know that word can feel like a heavy burden when you've been betrayed, let down, or hurt by someone you trusted. It doesn't seem fair to forgive someone who has wronged you. It feels like you're letting them off the hook, like you're letting them escape without facing the consequences of their actions. But forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. I need you to hear me clearly when I say this. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door to your freedom. When you hold on to unforgiveness, when you keep replaying that moment in your mind, when you keep allowing their actions to control your thoughts and emotions, you give them power over your life. You give them the ability to influence your mood, your energy, your decisions every single day. And that's not power you should ever give away. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget what happened. It doesn't mean you condone the wrongdoing. It doesn't mean you allow them back into your life to hurt you again. What forgiveness does is this: it takes the emotional hold that the past has over you and releases it. It frees you from being bound to those negative feelings that can hold you hostage. It allows you to stop living in the shadow of someone else's actions and to step into the light of your own life, your own future, your own purpose. I know, because I've been there. There was a time in my life when I felt deeply betrayed by people I trusted. They took advantage of me, manipulated me, and used me. It hurt. I carried that pain for a long time. And for a while, I was caught in this cycle of anger, resentment, and frustration. I would replay the betrayal in my mind, trying to understand how they could do this to me. And I thought, if I can just get them to understand the pain they caused, if I can just make them see how much they hurt me, maybe I'll feel better. But guess what? The only thing that did was keep me stuck. It kept me trapped in the same place, emotionally drained and spiritually depleted. I wasn't moving forward because I was still living in the past, still holding onto something that was never meant to define my future. It wasn't until I realized that forgiveness is the pathway to your elevation that I truly started to heal. When I decided that I would no longer allow their actions to control my future, when I made the conscious decision to forgive, not for them, but for me, that's when I found my freedom. You see, forgiveness is not weakness, it's power, it's strength. It takes a strong person to forgive. It takes a bold person to release the hold that pain has on them and choose to move forward. It takes courage to forgive when every part of you wants to retaliate. But I want you to understand this: forgiveness is the ultimate act of taking back your power. It's saying, I am no longer going to let this person or this situation define me. I'm not going to give them the power to determine my joy, my peace, or my success. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what happened was okay. It doesn't mean you should forget or allow yourself to be hurt again. It means you are no longer going to carry the weight of that hurt with you. You're not going to let the bitterness, the anger, and the resentment steal your peace. You are going to choose freedom. And that choice, that act of forgiveness, is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make. I know it's hard. I know it feels like it's not fair. But let me remind you, holding on to unforgiveness doesn't hurt them. It hurts you. It eats away at your soul. It affects your relationships, your success, your happiness. And I know you're meant for more than that. You're meant for peace, for purpose, for progress. And when you forgive, you unlock the door to that peace. Forgiveness doesn't have to happen in a moment. It doesn't mean you have to walk up to the person who hurt you and tell them you've forgiven them. Sometimes it's just an inner decision. It's choosing in your heart to release them from the hold they have on you. It's saying, I'm letting go of this bitterness. I'm letting go of this pain. I'm choosing peace. Because let me tell you something, the best revenge is living your life in peace. The best revenge is rising above the hurt and becoming a greater version of yourself because of it. When you forgive, you take back your life. You take back your power. And that, my friends, is the most powerful revenge you can ever have. Pain is inevitable. We all experience it. Whether it's betrayal, loss, disappointment, or rejection, there will come a time in your life when someone or something will try to break you. And in those moments, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You want to give up. You want to retreat. You want to let the pain consume you. But let me tell you something. Pain, when harnessed correctly, has the potential to fuel your success. You see, pain is not your enemy, it's your ally. It's not something to run from, it's something to use. The problem isn't that pain exists, it's how we choose to respond to it. And here's the key, what you focus on will expand. If you focus on the hurt, on the anger, on the wrongs that have been done to you, that's all you'll see. That's all you'll feel. It will control you. It will consume your thoughts. And before you know it, you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of bitterness and resentment, unable to move forward. But what if you could change your focus? What if instead of letting the pain define you, you used it as fuel to drive you forward? What if instead of letting the hurt pull you down, you used it to lift yourself up? This is where the power of focus comes in. You have the power to decide where you put your attention. You have the ability to take the very thing that was meant to break you and turn it into something that pushes you to your next level. You can either focus on the hurt or you can focus on the strength it takes to overcome it. You can either focus on the setback. Let me share a personal story with you. There was a time in my life when I was hurt deeply by people I trusted. I felt betrayed, overlooked, and even abandoned. For a while, I couldn't see past the pain. I allowed it to take over my thoughts. I let the anger and resentment build up, and for a moment, I thought I would never be able to move past it. I was stuck. But then I realized something that changed everything. I had a choice. I could either stay trapped in the past, focusing on everything that was wrong, or I could focus on what I could control. I could focus on my next step. I could focus on becoming the best version of myself, no matter what anyone else had done to me. So I made a decision. I chose to channel my pain into purpose. I chose to let that pain become the fuel that drove me toward my goals, my dreams, and my vision for the future. I chose to focus on what was in front of me, not behind me. The moment I made that decision, something powerful happened. The pain didn't go away, but I stopped allowing it to control me. Instead, it became my motivation. It became my reason to rise above. That's the power of focus. It's not about ignoring the pain. It's not about pretending it didn't happen. It's about choosing to use that pain to propel you forward. It's about taking the energy from the hurt and redirecting it toward your vision, toward your goals. And when you do that, pain no longer has the power to hold you back. You gain the power. You gain control. Think about it. Every successful person you know has faced some form of adversity. Every person who has made it to the top has been knocked down at some point in their journey. But what sets them apart is this. They didn't let the pain define them. They didn't let the setback stop them. They focused on the next step, the next opportunity, the next level. They turned their pain into fuel. They used it to push them harder, to work smarter, to grow faster. When you focus on the future instead of staying stuck in the past, you start to see the bigger picture. You realize that this pain, this setback is just a moment that doesn't define you, but one that can shape you. It's a moment that you can use to fuel your journey forward. You can either let the pain break you or you can let it build you. The choice is yours. Here's the truth. Pain is a powerful teacher. It's there to teach you lessons that success never can. Pain shows you who you truly are. It reveals your strength, your resilience, your ability to rise again. And when you focus on the lessons rather than the hurt, you start to transform. You start to evolve into a stronger, more focused version of yourself. I know it's not easy. I know it feels impossible sometimes. But let me tell you, you are stronger than your pain. You are stronger than your past. You are stronger than the people who tried to tear you down. And when you choose to focus on what lies ahead, on the opportunities in front of you, that pain becomes the very fuel that drives you toward your destiny. So the next time you find yourself hurt, betrayed, or knocked down, ask yourself, where is my focus? Are you focusing on what's wrong, or are you focusing on what's next? Are you focusing on the pain, or are you focusing on the power it gives you to rise? Pain is temporary. Your focus is everything. What you choose to focus on today will determine the life you create tomorrow. So focus on the future. Focus on your purpose. Focus on the victory that lies on the other side of this pain. When you're hurt by someone, when you're betrayed or wronged, your natural instinct is to retaliate. You want justice. You want them to feel what you felt. And the more you think about what they've done to you, the more you start to believe that seeking revenge is the only way to regain control of your life. But here's the truth that I need you to understand. Revenge is a distraction. It's a detour. It's a trap. Purpose is what will elevate you. It's what will carry you past the pain, past the betrayal, and past the anger. Purpose is what takes you from being reactive, from being stuck in a cycle of revenge, to being proactive, to moving forward with clarity, power, and intention. When you're driven by purpose, nothing can stop you. Not the people who hurt you, not the obstacles in your path, and certainly not the temptation to seek revenge. Let me share something personal. There was a point in my life when I was deeply hurt by someone close to me. I felt betrayed, disrespected, and overlooked. The rage inside me was undeniable. I wanted to make them feel the pain they'd caused me. I wanted them to understand how much they had hurt me and how wrong they were for doing so. I spent countless hours thinking about how I could get back at them, how I could make them pay for what they did. But then something shifted inside me. I realized that the more I focused on getting back at them, the more I allowed their actions to dictate my life. Every moment I spent thinking about how I could hurt them back, I was robbing myself of the time, the energy, and the mental space that I could have spent building the life I wanted. And in that moment, I knew that I had to let go of the desire for revenge if I was going to move forward. Instead of wasting my energy on retribution, I chose to focus on my purpose. I asked myself, what is it that I want out of my life? What is it that I'm really meant to do with the time I have left? And let me tell you, purpose is powerful. It recenters your life. It shifts your focus from the people who hurt you to the life you're destined to create. When you focus on your purpose, you stop living for the approval of others. You stop letting the wrongdoings of others have the power to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Purpose becomes your guiding light. It pulls you out of the darkness of revenge and anger and into the light of growth, impact, and achievement. Purpose will do something else too. It will give you a new perspective. When you are living on purpose, you see your pain differently. You see it not as something that will hold you back, but as something that can fuel your drive. Your pain becomes a part of your story. It becomes the foundation for the greatness you are going to achieve. It becomes a powerful tool that you use to elevate yourself, to rise higher, and to achieve the success you once thought was impossible. But when you stop seeking revenge and start seeking your purpose, you begin to understand that you are no longer the victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your future. The energy that once went toward plotting someone's downfall now goes into building your dreams. The time you once wasted thinking about how to hurt them now becomes the time you use to invest in yourself, in your growth, in your future. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is that revenge doesn't change anything. It doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't fix what was broken. And it certainly doesn't help you grow. But purpose is the antidote. It takes the pain and turns it into passion. It takes the anger and turns it into action. Purpose gives you a reason to keep going, a reason to rise, a reason to push past the obstacles and the people who have tried to hold you back. When you're driven by purpose, you begin to see the bigger picture. You realize that the pain you've been through is just a stepping stone to something greater. You understand that the challenges you've faced have not been meant to break you, but to prepare you. And as you focus on your purpose, your life begins to transform. The people who hurt you, they become irrelevant. Their actions no longer have the power to dictate your future. Your purpose is what drives you. Your purpose is what will push you to greater heights than you ever imagined. And in the process, you'll realize that the best way to get back at those who hurt you is not to seek revenge, but to live a life that exceeds every expectation they had for you. To live a life that shows them you were never defined by what they did to you. To live a life that proves you are stronger, wiser, and more capable than they ever gave you credit for. When you live with purpose, your success becomes the best response. Your impact becomes the best revenge. The best way to show them that they were wrong about you is to rise up and show them the greatness that lies within you. The best revenge is living your life on purpose, living your life in alignment with your goals, your values, and your vision. Purpose is your weapon. It is the shield that will protect you from the arrows of negativity and hate. It is the sword that will cut through the darkness and carve a path to your destiny. And when you are focused on your purpose, nothing can stop you. No one can take that away from you. So I ask you, what is your purpose? What are you living for? What is the legacy you want to leave? Don't let the people who hurt you define you. Don't let the pain you've experienced determine your future. Focus on your purpose and let that be the thing that drives you, because when you live with purpose, nothing can hold you back. You've been hurt, you've been let down, and now the challenge is this. Do you allow the opinions, actions, and judgments of others to define who you are? Because here's the hard truth, my friend. Most of us spend far too much of our lives living for the approval of others. We look to the outside world to validate our worth, to tell us that we matter, that we're enough. We give other people the power to determine how we see ourselves. And that is the very thing that can keep us stuck in a cycle of pain and self-doubt. But I need you to hear me when I say this. Your worth is not determined by what others think of you. Your worth is not contingent on their approval, their love, or their acceptance. The moment you realize this, the moment you internalize this truth, you will experience a shift so powerful that it will change the trajectory of your life. I know it's hard to believe sometimes, especially when the people we love and trust are the ones who hurt us. It's easy to question your value when someone you've poured your heart into turns their back on you, when the people who were supposed to support you let you down. But the truth is, their inability to see your worth doesn't diminish it. It doesn't lessen the value you bring to the world. Their actions may have hurt you, but they do not have the right to define your identity. You see, your worth is intrinsic. It's built into you the moment you were born. It's not something you have to earn or prove. It's not something that can be taken away. because someone rejected you or betrayed your trust. You are valuable because you exist. You don't have to do anything to prove that. You don't have to jump through hoops for anyone. Your value is not based on their standards, on their judgment, on their view of you. It's based on who you are and what you bring to this world. I'll tell you something. I've spent years seeking validation from others. I've looked for approval, searching for it in the eyes of my mentors, my peers, and sometimes even strangers. And let me tell you, I've been disappointed more times than I care to admit. People won't always see you the way you see yourself. They won't always understand your vision, your heart, or your dream. And if you continue to look to them for validation, you will forever find yourself running in circles, chasing something that can never be fully satisfied. But when you realize that you are worthy simply because you are you, everything changes. No longer do you need to look outside of yourself for reassurance. You don't need someone to tell you that you're enough because you already know it. And that knowledge, that deep understanding of your own value becomes the foundation on which you build your life. When you know your worth, you stop living for their approval, for their acceptance, for their validation. You start living for you. I remember a time when I allowed someone's opinion of me to hold so much power. I had a business partner who was quick to point out my flaws, quick to dismiss my ideas, and slow to give me credit for the work I was doing. For a long time, I let that weigh on me. I thought, if only I could get their approval, if only they would see my value, then I would feel confident in myself. But the more I thought that way, the more I realized I was giving away my power. I was letting someone else's inability to see my worth control how I felt about myself. I was letting someone else's perspective become my reality. One day, I had a breakthrough. I realized that my worth was not dependent on their approval. It didn't matter if they recognized my potential or not. What mattered was what I believed about myself. Once I made that shift, I stopped seeking their validation. I stopped allowing their judgment to shape my self-worth. I began to operate from a place of confidence and clarity, knowing that I was valuable regardless of what anyone else thought. And I want you to do the same. I want you to let go of the need for approval, for validation, for anyone's permission to live the life you're meant to live. You are enough, just as you are. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to seek their acceptance. Your worth is not for sale. It's not something you have to earn through the eyes of others. It's something that's already inside of you, waiting to be fully realized. When you begin to live from this place of knowing your own worth, your life begins to change. Your relationships change. You stop allowing people to treat you in ways that are beneath your value. You stop tolerating behavior that disrespects you. You stop settling for less than what you deserve, and you start demanding more from yourself and from the people you allow into your life. Living for your own worth means making decisions based on your own values, not based on someone else's opinion. It means choosing to honor yourself, your dreams, and your potential, no matter how others see you. And let me tell you, once you do that, you will stop caring about what they think, their hurtful words, their dismissive actions, their judgments. None of it will affect you the way it once did. You will rise above it because you'll know that none of it defines you. When you understand your worth, the opinions of others lose their power. You stop letting people's behavior determine your happiness. You stop giving away your peace. The best revenge against those who hurt you is to live a life of confidence, to live a life that reflects the value you know you have. Because at the end of the day, it's not their view of you that matters, it's how you view yourself. When you live for you, when you live knowing your worth, you elevate yourself to heights you never thought possible.